minutes away of going to see The Flash. I'm very excited. I feel like I'm one of the last people to go see this film, even though it doesn't come out until tomorrow, but I cannot wait to go see this. I'm going to film a little bit going into the theater, and then I'll give you a quick reaction, and then we'll get into the breakdown right after that. But guys, stay tuned. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. The Flash is directed by Andy Muschietti. This film stars Ezra Miller, Sasha Calle, Ben Affleck, Michael Shannon, Michael Keaton, Kiersey Clemens, and a bunch more people which we'll get into soon. But this film is about Barry Allen using his super speed to change the past to save his mom. But in his attempt to save his family, it creates a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save the future. So I saw The Flash today on Thursday. My showing was 3:10. It didn't start until 3:45, which is a bunch of ads at Regal, but I went to see this film in IMAX, and as this film goes in IMAX, I would definitely recommend going to see it in IMAX. It was a great presentation. I had no complaints as the presentation goes. But let's talk about what I really enjoyed about this film, and then I do have a couple negatives, and we'll get into spoilers at the end of this video. But let's talk about the performances. Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, and Sasha Calle nailed their performances. Let's talk about Ezra. Whatever, I always go into a film separating the actor's life compared to what we're dealing with as their character in this film. Ezra, their character of Barry Allen, they handle two different Barry Allens, and their performance was overall phenomenal. The amount of emotion Ezra gives to both of these characters, and the amount of love, amount of seriousness, gratitude, they do a great job, and I was blown away by their performance, because the only thing I got based off of Ezra's Flash is the Snyder Cut, and seeing their performance in this film, thumbs up. Give credit where credit's due. I'll talk more in spoilers, but Michael Keaton as Batman, yes, he did a fucking great job reprising his role. 2 thumbs up. Now you guys know that I wasn't a big fan of the '89 film. It started to really grow on me a couple of years ago, and now I really have a lot of respect for Michael Keaton as Batman, but he did a phenomenal job as Bruce Wayne and Batman in this film. So 2 thumbs up. If not, he might be the best part of this film. Sasha Calle was a badass as Supergirl. We didn't get a lot of Kara Zor-El in this film, but I want to see more of her as Supergirl. She was a badass, and I just wish she would have got a little bit more screen time than she did. But overall, Ben, the buff badass Batman, Bruce Wayne, yeah, he was handled really well in this film. If this was his last performance, I say this could be close to one of his best performances as the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman. He feels even closer to the Batman that I know and love in the comic books in this film, and I thought the blue batsuit was gonna bother me, but overall it didn't, and the things that we see him do and how he acts in this film, that's bad. As for the story and the plot go of this film, it was a really good story and plot. The time travel aspect of this film was handled really, really well. I was really blown away by how they handled it. It was a different concept, and I really liked it, but it's a touching story, a heart story, emotion story with Barry and his mom, and it's something that just hasn't been done in a while, and I gotta say, I really love that. I have to say though too, the cinematography and the score of the film were phenomenal as well. I forgot the composer of this film, but he handled the Danny Elfman Batman score really well. He handled Affleck's score in the sequence of the film that he's in really well, and the Flash theme in this film, yeah, it's really good. Let's get into my negatives though. And unfortunately, my first one has to be the CGI. Now overall with this negative, I can look over it as well as the other one that's about to come, but the CGI and visual effects, like I said, this is a great movie to look at. It really is, but when the CGI shows, it's bad. It's really bad. There was a couple sequences that with Barry and his face just looked too artificial to me. And some of these scenes in the trailer, I'm like, okay, maybe they'll be polished up by the actual theatrical run of the film, but some of them really weren't, and it just looked too bad. There's a scene with Affleck's face shot as Batman. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've seen the trailer. That shot in the fucking movie, ugh. it didn't look that good. It's something with Affleck's cowl in this film too that just didn't look great. Now, I don't know if Affleck was in the film as Batman, like if he actually suited up as Batman, or he just did a lot of like face shots or something like that, but overall, it just, I love the blue. I love what they were trying to go for too with this Batsuit. Something with that cowl just didn't look the best, but it is what it is. I can look over the CGI in this film because it is a great film. But my other negative nitpick is this film had so much potential, and I will go into this more in spoilers, but it just wasn't 100% that delivered for me. I enjoyed the film, but I did want a little bit more, and we'll get into that. But there's a lot of scenes that are choppy in this film as well that I feel like a director's cut or an extended cut is needed. There's a sequence in this film where Michael Keaton's Batman and both Barrys go to get Supergirl, and they get in this predicament, and then it just cuts to the predicament resolved. There had to be a sequence there. It reminds me of a sequence in Justice League and the Snyder Cut where there was this predicament that they were stuck in, and they just cut right to they were fine. There has to be a sequence there, and I feel like seeing an extended cut of this film, if there is one, a director's cut, I heard there's a 4-hour cut, something like that, I'd love to watch it. I really would. I don't know if they'll ever make it available, but with a blink of an eye, this sequence bothered me a little bit. But overall, I do want to say that I did enjoy this film a lot. I had a fun time with it. The runtime of 2 hours and 24 minutes, I do not feel it. I was coming out of this film and I wanted more of the film. So that's where you guys can get my perspective on it. I thought all the performances were phenomenal. Michael Shannon in the film, I'll talk a little bit more in spoilers as well, was great. Some other characters that we get to see were great as well. But this is a true love letter film to the past DCU, Snyder's DCU. This film also honors the Snyder Cut as well. It's connected to the Snyder Cut. Time travel exists in this film. Barry mentions it in the film, and I'm going to talk about a couple more things in spoilers, but let's stop talking about it. But overall, this is the last film in the DCEU, not including Aquaman 2. I'm happy with it, and I'm glad with what they did with the characters that I know and love from this DCU. But overall, guys, my rating of The Flash is a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this film. Let's get into spoilers, guys. So there's so much to talk about. Let's start off with comedy. The comedy was handled real well. There's a scene right in the beginning where Barry is rescuing babies falling out of Gotham General, and this sequence was fucking funny. Not that the babies are fallen and they could die, but the way that he puts one in a microwave, how he just throws a burrito at something, at a piece of glass, and that it was a funny sequence. And it just, Andy Muschietti did a great job handling humor in this film and balancing out with real stakes that are held in this film. But I really gotta say, the comedy throughout the whole film. There's a sequence also that takes place after this where Batman gets rescued by Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, which was so great to see. I love seeing her as Wonder Woman. Rescues Batman and this Falcone guy, and has the lasso of truth around him, and he's speaking out the truth and speaking from his heart. It was a funny scene, and that feels like Batman to me, and it feels overall right. But I have to say, Affleck's performance in this film, chef's kiss right there. It was great. It really, it took me to somewhere how I wanted to see Affleck's Batman be. He has this cool little fight scene on top of this Humvee. It was pretty fucking cool, I have to say. It really was. Him on his bat bike too was awesome, or Batcycle. But let's talk about Ezra Miller in depth with all the things going on with him, with allegations, whatever. I love to go into a film and separate that, right? And their portrayal as two Barry Allens really, really worked. I love Ezra as this character. I would love to see them continue on, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I talked about this many a times, obviously, but maybe we're wrong. But their portrayal in this film, handling two different Barrys, they did a great job. And it was hilarious at times to see how annoying Barry Allen is to Barry Allen. And it's a younger Barry Allen because it takes place in 2013, and we get to see an older Barry Allen get annoyed of it and see how annoying he is. I thought that was all really cool to see. And also, I thought it was really unique to, as we see Zod start to come to Earth in 2013 in September, that we get to see where Barry gets his powers from, and he ends up losing his powers, giving it to the other Barry. I thought that was really cool and clever. But also what was cool to see is when Zod comes to Earth, Barry exists as the speedster. He's got his like homemade suit, which I thought was really unique, but he stood away because all he could rescue was a kid, and I'm talking about Arbery. And I thought that was really unique, and just to show that he was there back in 2013 along with Bruce, along with Soups. That was there. But going into the suit design of the Flash in this film, I thought it was really cool. It looked too rubbery for me at first, but overall it grew on me, and I really like it. How it handles yellow lightning, it gives off energy, how he can read his calorie count on his suit. I thought all these unique aspects were really, really cool. And also the other Barry picking up the Batman suit, spray painting his Batman logo or his Flash logo on it, I thought that was cool as well. There was a funny scene where he's cutting off the ears of the Bat cowl. Thought that was funny too. But Michael Shannon as General Zod, not in the film that much, but when he is, he's great. And we also get to see Feora, I forgot the actress's name, but she was great in the film as well. It just feels like a full circle back to Man of Steel, which I was so happy about. Minus fucking no scene of Henry Cavill, which bothered me, which I'll get into the negatives in a little bit. But overall, the whole Kryptonian battle that we see take place in the desert sequence was badass. There's a lot of time travel that goes on in that sequence, which I'll talk about in a sec, but let's talk about Sasha Calle as Kara Zor-El and Supergirl. Like I said in my spoiler-free part, she's not in the film that much, but when she is a complete badass, and all she is doing is kicking ass. But I want to see more of her. I want to see more of her acting chops. I haven't seen Sasha Calle in really anything. I am not really familiar with her work, but I really loved her presence in the film, and I want to see more of her. She is a complete badass. She has a Clark Kent, but he ended up dying in this timeline, and her suit design, how she was handled overall, I was really, really happy. Last but certainly not least, Michael Keaton's portrayal as Batman. From the first rumors that I heard back in 2020, I'm like, is this really gonna happen? I don't believe it, but I think it was an actual good idea, and if not the best part of this. His performance in this film, we get to see a long-haired, grizzly Bruce Wayne that's hiding in this haunting, gothic-looking Wayne Manor. It was great. We get to see all these suits that never seen before, but they're there, which was really cool to see. And we see the Batwing, the Batmobile. Why couldn't they just drive the Batmobile at least once, even if it's for fucking shits and giggles? I just wanted to see it move. But the Batwing was awesome. The Batcave looked great. And just, you got Keaton, who's 60, 70 something years old, and he's kicking ass. And it was awesome to see him in the suit, kicking ass, doing his detective work. I loved it. My hands are flinging fucking everywhere. It was awesome, and I just loved all of it. It felt like I was like 6 years old again, or something like that. But I have to say something. Now, at the end of the film, we're about to talk about the ending. Kara and this Batman die. But other Barry, reverses the timeline to save them multiple times, but they end up keep dying. And our Barry finally tells the other Barry that it is inevitable, we cannot change this. Basically talking about even his mom. It is inevitable, she has to die. And we get to see this rendition of the Dark Flash, which is Barry Allen from a future timeline who's older, that's living in the Speed Force, so to speak, to try to correct the death of his mom. And this was a really crazy sequence. Like I said, I liked how they handle time travel in this film, but the Speed Force in general, the way that it circles back, you get it, like how it's all like kind of like I don't even know what you want to call it, like a stage or I don't know, but it was really cool to look at. But the way that they reverse time and they just keep failing at it in this sequence was crazy. And then we know that the other Barry ends up dying, and it basically disintegrates Dark Flash, meaning that Dark Flash was ending up being that other Barry, right? That's what but as this is happening and Dark Flash dies, it breaks the multiverse. So we see these other worlds of different superheroes. Who do we get to see? I did not expect this. We got to see Christopher Reeve's Superman, which was something. It hit me a little bit. We saw Adam West Batman. We saw Nicolas Cage's fucking Superman, which was amazing. I did not expect that. And I think we got a couple more. I forgot, or maybe that might have been it at the time. But then we noticed that, like I said, the other Barry takes his own life, and then we know that our Barry knows what he has to do. He ends up having to go back in time and take out the can of tomatoes from his mom's cart. So she ends up dying. This is a plot line that goes throughout the film where his dad has to go to the grocery store because she forgot canned tomatoes and ends up dying while he's at the store. And man, let's just say that was really emotional. There's a scene with Bruce Wayne, Affleck's Bruce Wayne, and Barry early on in the film where he basically states that our scars define who we are and we can't change that. That was a very touching scene, but I have to say that the scene where Barry goes back to his mom and sees her there and basically lies and says like, I'm here to visit my mom and that, and can't say that exactly that's his mom, that was really heartwarming, and it was like, wow, that really hit. I honestly might bump up my rating just thinking about this film, because you know what, I can look over the CGI, maybe not this other little nitpick negative coming up. When I talk about that this film has so much potential, or had so much potential, my negative goes into this. We see the murder happen of Nora Allen, but the problem is we don't see who kills her, and this was a perfect time to just see even yellow and red lightning to hint that it was a reverse Flash, but we didn't get that. And as the end credits scene goes, we only get to see Jason Momoa's Aquaman, which the scene itself didn't really go anywhere. We see Thomas Curry in the film as well, but I just wanted more cameos. If you're making a multiverse film, we could have seen a couple more people. We got Gal Gadot, we got Christopher Reeve, we got Nicolas Cage. I don't want Henry Cavill, guys. Just one fucking scene, that's it. And man, imagine seeing Christian Bale or something, would have been fucking, whoa. These characters I really want to see. But yeah, we get fucking George Clooney back as Batman at the end of the film. What the fuck? Even Barry says, who the fuck are you, basically. I thought it was fucking hilarious. So let's talk about the end of the film. So the fucking end of the film sums up as Barry ends up going to his court hearing for his dad, and there's a big subplot with Iris and this surveillance cam that Affleck's Bruce gives Barry, and basically showing that when his dad's at the grocery store, he doesn't look up on the facial recognition. They can't pinpoint if that's actually him, Henry Allen. But we end up seeing in this version of the timeline, he looks up and we got clear facial recognition that it actually is his dad, and his dad ends up getting proven innocent, which was really cool to see. But then we see Barry answer the phone, and Bruce Wayne picks up, and it's George Clooney's Bruce Wayne. So we know the timeline's fucked up, and basically the film ends on a cliffhanger. Now, I remember seeing set photos of Michael Keaton being there at that courthouse sequence and Sasha Calle's Supergirl, so I'm to believe that there were reshoots done, or maybe it was supposed to be misleading, but I still think that the film was going to end with Sasha Calle's Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman being alive in this timeline, but it didn't. But either way, with the reshoots taking place in that, this film ends up in a cliffhanger. But me as a fan of all these DC and these Marvel films, I'm just tired of multiverse films, honestly. I will say that this is definitely the best multiverse film I've seen, whether it's handled by the story and the plot, the cameos, the fan service, the action, the fight sequences, the cinematography. This is the best film. It's better than Spider-Man No Way Home. It's better than fucking Multiverse of Madness. It's better than Kang Dynasty, or not Kang Dynasty, but Quantum Mania. It's better than that. And I'm glad to say that. But even with the CGIs, and I wish a little bit more cameos, it's better. But guys, I want to make a video later on in the week about how DC goes from this film now with the reboot. Do they follow up with a sequel, or what happens now? But I have to say right now, guys, I am bumping my score up for The Flash. I just keep thinking about it, and I really enjoyed this film. So guys, the new rating for me for The Flash is a 9.5. I will definitely go see this film one more time over the weekend and get the Steelbook in the normal 4K, but I had a lot of fun with this, guys, and I definitely recommend going to see this. Even if you don't want to support Ezra, that's fine. Go support the cast and crew. Andy Muschietti did a great job with this film. I would love to see him carry on in the DC universe. I heard he might be directing Brave and the Bold, but I would love to see a sequel. I just don't know what would go go on, especially with Ezra's career right now. But overall, guys, if you've seen The Flash, let me know your thoughts below. What was your favorite part of it, and did you guys like it like me, or what? And what do you think the future is? Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.